to Elon
Absolutely.
Musk.
Commercial
Look at how
space is going
cool
to give
this is.
opportunities to regular citizens, to new spacefaring nations, as we've seen with some of the missions, and even companies and organizations, because there's a lot of work that gets done
Sorry
in
about the
microgravity that
reflection.
can't be here terrestrially or to the same extent terrestrially. And the scientific advances that come from that, whether it's medical treatments,
Those
pharmaceuticals, or
astronauts have been stranded up
textile
there for 9 months
manufacturing,
because of the
IT development,
Biden
the list
administration
goes on, are all going to have massive
and the
benefits for us
incompetence
here on Earth.
thereof.
And from a health perspective, I'm very
But
excited
Trump
about that. It's
rescued
going to give
him.
me new ways that I can treat my
So
patients
thank you, President
en
Trump,
masse
and
and
thank
on
you,
Earth
Elon
in the
Musk, for
hospitals
bringing
today.
home our
Stand by. Let's listen
heroes.
to some of the commentary here from the.
Is that translation deck where we will see the nest once it is loaded up with the Dragon spacecraft on board. The nest will be translated to the forward end of the recovery vessel, and that is where our Crew 9 team members will egress from the Dragon spacecraft. Now, here on your screen, we can see dolphins actually,
Whoa, cool.
who want to come and play
That is freaking
with
cool.
Dragon. Now, one of
Wow.
the fast boats there in place,
That's
working
amazing.
to assist the recovery team member.
That's totally
It's incredible.
cool.
I just love these views. We really see them
That
even
is
better
hilarious.
in daytime. But just seeing the recovery team.
There's a bunch of
work in
dolphins
tandem
swimming
to,
around the
step
capsule.
through each step, to step through each operation. Obviously they're getting quick assists from the honorary part of the recovery team, those dolphins in the water there. Now the recovery team member that is crawling around the Dragon spacecraft.
This is going to be
earlier
awesome.
We saw a view where it was like a spider monkey pose.
Just going to back up and hook it up.
You can see that individual now standing in the bucket where the main parachutes were stored while Dragon was on orbit. Obviously, those main parachutes were utilized for splashdown today. They were deployed and cut from the Dragon capsule, and one of the other fast boats of the recovery team working to pull those out of the water. Now, the recovery team member that is
they came to see the humans
on top of the Dragon capsule.
Amazing.
Earlier, we saw that person performing safety checks. Now we can see some harnessing being placed around the capsule. This harnessing is what will be used to lift the Dragon capsule out of the water and onto the recovery vessel.
That's freaking cool,
wow,
man.
We got a cute little pod of dolphins. It wasn't just one or two.
There's a whole bunch of them now.
I mean, that water just looks beautiful. We had ideal splashdown parameters today. Obviously, wave height, ne'er a concern. The weather is beautiful, as Jaden mentioned, in the 60s, sunny. Looking forward to seeing Crew 9 exit the capsule here shortly once they get hoisted onto the recovery vessel, Megan.
We can see that recovery vessel slowly but surely closing the distance there.
There's the dolphins.
Dolphin cam back again.
Dolphin cam.
We can see that
That's
the
cool,
Dragon capsule and the recovery vessel, that distance is closing. Again, this is just one more step as
it's
we
a badass boat, man. Look
to
at that
work
thing.
recovery operations
SpaceX,
for
baby.
Dragon Freedom.
That's Elon
and
Musk
we
boat.
Anticipate the lift of the Dragon capsule to occur here in just a few minutes. Now, once all of the rigging is on the capsule and it's hooked up to the recovery vessel, we will see the hydraulic arm, which is that kind of like bridge-like structure there at the aft end of the recovery vessel. We'll see that articulate backwards, and that's a good sign that we're getting even closer.
Good old American ingenuity.
There's
the dolphins again.
Move forward, and the capsule will be placed inside of what you can see there is basically a basket. We call it the nest, Dragon nest, where that's where the capsule will be placed in order for it to be translated to the forward end of the vessel and for the astronauts to egress.
And before that does take place, we'll have potentially views of the rigger.
And some significant things happened during this time for Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore. For example, on January 30th, Sonny Williams made history by setting the record for the most time spent spacewalking by a woman. She has logged a cumulative 62 hours, 6 minutes in the vacuum of space across 9 different spacewalks in her career. And again, this is 286 days. They were supposed to go up for 8-9 days, but problems with the Boeing Starliner prevented them, then there was an effort to get them down, pledged by President Trump at the joint address to Congress. Scott Kelly, just quickly about the mental toll it takes, perhaps, when you're up there for that long. You were supposed to be up there that long. They were not. That's a long time, and there's a mental side to it too.
Brett, before I talk about that, let me say something. I was watching the previous your previous program, The Five. And they're talking about abandoned and they were stranded by President Biden. That is not true. They have had a spacecraft up there since September.
You're such a
that was gonna bring
liar.
them home.
Why don't you go back
They've
to
always had a
watch
ride home, and the decision
CNN?
to keep them up there had nothing to do with politics. It was just the fact that you need crew members to operate the space station. And they were the two that were there, and you had to send up a vehicle with 2 empty seats. So the safest thing to do was to just leave them there. But they weren't stranded. They always had a ride home.
No, they
Now,
didn't.
they were only supposed to be there for 8 days. So to answer your question, yeah, it's mentally challenging to go on a mission where you think it might be 8 days. You know it could be longer because it's the first flight of a vehicle, and sometimes there are problems. And NASA made the right choice to keep